much harder than it used to be.
And again, they've still won games, weren't behind, and had late game team fighting. They got sort of the complete package across the board as we are going to pop back into the draft just to make sure we've got everything in order. But as you can see, picks largely the same. In fact, exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone just picking their own champion. No swaps coming through here. And you see the Chiefs, they've also got some scaling in there as well. Jinx always going to be great late game. Victor's pretty good as well. They do have some mobility issues. It is worthwhile pointing out. Jinx, very immobile until she gets excited. Victor, he's just a sitting duck without summoner spells, honestly, unless he's using that power transfer. Very definition of a mid-range mage, probably. So they do have to make sure that they execute well during this game.
Yeah, I mean, kind of looking down as well, thinking a bit more about the Chiefs team comp now. I really like the Jinx-Victor synergy particularly because I feel like you just have a lot going on there as far as your ultimates are concerned.
Yeah, you certainly do. The other thing is like Chompers into Gravity Field is a very good way to set up chain CC. You've got the ultimate and then the Jinx ultimate can crash through people, both AoE. Very good upfront burst on Victor, very good execute potential coming through from Jinx. So there definitely is a synergy there. They've got good consistent damage, especially if Swiffer goes towards 40% CDR. Should be able to continue chunk people out and chase them through team fights relatively well. So I agree. There's a lot going on in the Chiefs composition. Definitely is a fight composition. We see that a lot out of them. They don't play a lot of pick at the moment. So see whether they can execute once again in a team fighting situation.
I guess the very simple question that's Spawn. Who won the draft?
So right now, I actually think that Sudden Fear had a very good composition, but I'm a little bit remiss that they didn't pick Azir in the mid lane. I think if they had the Azir, they had another tool to shove people back and keep the Caitlyn nice and safe. From how I've seen the Chiefs play at the moment, you need more than just two people that can peel for you. You need a whole team working as a unit, and they don't have that without the Emperor's Divide. Because one thing you can guarantee is that Echo and Annie will fly at you at the exact same moment, and you will have to deal with both.
Yeah, there's Hecarim in there as well. There's lots of scary stuff happening for the Chiefs lineup in general. I think it's great, by the way, that Spooks and Swiffer, the very classic duo, are playing these champions that just have so much going on in their kits.
Yeah, it really is cool. They've got the Venn diagrams when the circles swap over. A lot of synergy comes through from Echo as well, and we've seen that Spooks, in particular, uses those gap closers to get very deep into mid lane, and he's still not scared to dive.
No, not at all. As you can see, the team comps on your screen. But make sure you get on Twitter as well and let us know who you think is going to win this particular game. Get on the Chiefs bandwagon, if you like, with CHF win, or back on the Sudden Fear train with SF win.
Yeah, so Sudden Fear, they did piece together two of those key picks. The pick away of Nuno, I feel, will be important in this game. I'm hoping a Pink Boomy, who is the other person on Sudden Fear that I really want to step up in this game and show that he's still a fantastic jungler. Had a great first season in the OPL, trying to get back to his old form. Let's see if he can get in Spook's face and try and upset him, because Spooks right now has the luxury generally of playing on a team with 3 winning lanes. So he just sits there and counter jungles. Now against the Nunu, we'll see maybe how he likes to get it done to him in reverse.
Yeah, I mean, Spook's certainly a big Nunu player, so he'll know the way around the champion. But yeah, Pink Bomi, certainly the sort of player that can take it to Spooks here. And in general, I think the team comps have picked fairly balanced here. The Chiefs obviously on paper look like the better team, but Sudden Fear, we've seen the upset before. If they're going to win any game, honestly, it probably is this one, because they'll certainly be trying their hardest here. With the Chiefs, maybe they get a little lax.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the Chiefs. At 8-0, they're sitting very firm at the top of the table. Now maybe is the time that they do start to switch off a little bit, look towards that playoff march, and we've seen that that has hurt them in the past. And Sudden Fear, they're definitely fighting for their life. Even if they are pretty far off making playoffs, honestly, they still don't want to be the last side, because you want to be able to grab the second seed coming out of the OCS.
Yeah, of course, to re-qualify yourself. You want to make sure you're not dead last, you're just sitting there being like, well, who do I get to play? And it's usually the best team, which is not good.
Yeah, it certainly is coming through there. So we'll have to see whether they can make that team comp work. Really, I think the first 12 minutes of this game will prove a lot. If they are able to shove down 2-3 turrets, open up the map and transition into some good objectives, Xerath might be able to poke out enough in the early game to secure some dragons and some turrets.
I think we could have maybe some mid towers lasting quite a long time here as well, because I know you love straight line wave clear. We got a lot of it.
Yeah, we certainly do. And that's one of the things that's really become popular in League of Legends lately. Being able to destroy minion waves before they even get to your turret means that it's hard to set up for these things. And you mentioned Victor has it in spades. Xerath has it like from the longest range in the game almost. So look for them to, if they start falling behind, it's going to be hard for the other team to crack the base, because there is a lot of good wave clear here. Even Caitlyn and Jinx have some as well.
Yeah, and for me, that's the thing I like about these fast pushes especially. We see it a lot with Caitlyn. We used to see it a lot with Jinx. An option here as well for the Chiefs if they want to go for it. Because when you take out those 2 towers on the other side of the map, all of a sudden, the one you really want, always been, but is even more so the most precious tower, is that mid lane one.
Yeah, exactly right. And it just stays up for extended long periods of time. The other thing is if they do lane swap, Annie going to be much more useful than Janna. So see if anything around the map gets happening.
Well, we'll have to see what can happen. The Chiefs going to remain undefeated. All Sudden Fear finally get a win on the board. We're going to pop back into the casting dust and find out.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. Welcome back with us, of course. Atlas and Rusty sitting on the desk ready to take you into this game. Sudden Fear taking on the Chiefs, trying to activate their blue shell as best as they possibly can. And Sudden Fear 0-8 against the 8-1 Chiefs, of course. Together, they make a pretty even win-loss ratio, but apart, things are looking pretty dire.
Yeah, they're looking quite bad for the side of Sudden Fear, but you said the blue shell scenario. We're looking at the David and Goliath matchup. There's a lot of ways.
How many more cliches can we shove into this cast?
So many cliches are possible right now. We've got the 0-8 against the 8-0 side. Sudden Fear have to put it all on the line and step up their game right now and take it out against the Chiefs. Perhaps the Chiefs are getting comfortable in their position. We've seen it happen for them in the last split. They lost one game against what was the bottom side at the time.
Yeah, well, it's true. I mean, there's crazier things have happened, of course, pretty recently as well, theoretically, if you're talking about, whether it's this year or the one prior. So, yeah, it is definitely a possibility, but I'm not sure whether the Chiefs, of course, this pretty dominating squad at the moment, of course, now with EJ moving onto the roster, things looking still very, very good for our Chiefs boys there. And look, we'll see whether Sudden Fear can bring it out or whether or not the Chiefs are just going to roll this one over. But I like what Sudden Fear have done as we hop onto the Rift. Of course, Chiefs taking on Sudden Fear. Chiefs will be blue this time around as Sudden Fear pick up the red shorts to see if they can do battle. Of course, you move faster in red, so maybe it's going to help them this game.
I don't think you actually do move faster in red, though. It's a very, very cute concept. Max, unfortunately, they're moving so slow that Spooks can get himself out of there at the level 1, but a very aggressive maneuver here from the Sudden Fear lineup, looking to get their way into the jungle. Nunu, in natural habitat being in not his own jungle, of course, looking to place some deep wards and stop that 1v2.
Well, is Sudden Fear trying to stop a 1v2? Because I can imagine that they'd want to get Caitlyn into a 2v2 matchup.
There's two ways that you can do this, of course. You've got the possibilities of utilizing the Nunu, Caitlyn, Janna, and even to a degree the Maokai if need be, and do the 4v0.
Yep.
Where you can just wreck turrets. You've got Caitlyn, Nunu. That's all you need to know right there, is that they can outpush anyone. And up against this Chiefs lineup, there is Jinx, very good at pushing, but with the Annie, they push somewhat fast. It's a bit lackluster compared to that of Sudden Fear. So if they get the 2v1 situation, which seemingly with the Janna sitting in the top lane, you would assume, they are looking to do that fast push strategy, get some turrets down and work around their rotational play, move around the map very smartly and find a lead from everything that is an objective.
Yeah, well, it looks to me like Sudden Fear definitely respecting the bottom lane prowess of the Chiefs. Of course, Raider and Ejim pretty notably strong in that 2v2 scenario, so Sudden Fear wanting to dodge that one out and play it more strategically around the early game, and definitely understand that. Spook's going to pick himself up a shield from his parallel convergence and smack these Krogs in the face with the help of his Chiefs bodies there on the bottom side of the map. And Spook's going to have a fine time there in the jungle. Robo-Santa taking out a Raptor or two. He's going to be able to teleport somewhere or just keep following a Pink Bomi around the map. And as far as this jungle follow is concerned, who do you think comes out on top as far as the Ignite Hecarim and Echo versus a Nunu and Maokai?
They're fairly even, really. The Echo and the Hecarim, they've got a little bit more raw damage output, but the tankiness and sustain, able to do more jungle camps, essentially, is the Maokai and the Nunu. You're always going to have helpers. Ejim wants it, but...
Yeah, of course, no vision on the little Annie just yet.
Patient.
Yeah, but this is what we sort of thought Chenny Boy was going to do. Spawn mentioned it. He said, yeah, he's not picking the Azir. And it made sense that it's probably because he never wants to be anywhere near Swiffer.
Yeah.
And Xerath is going to give you that.
Definitely. Xerath, massively high range, but has gone for the Ignite, which says to me that in a way wants to be next to Swiffer. Counterintuitive of the champion almost. And that will be interesting to see how that does pan out when you're up against the Hecarim, the Echo, and even the Annie that can jump in your face. Maybe one of the barrier.
Potentially. And as far as that Chrono Break is concerned, when you use it, does Ignite's effect?
Well, it's a healing effect,
heal?
so I would imagine that it does, yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering. Actually, that's going to be the flash in the mid lane, though, as the orb comes down. Swiffer, so much aggression from Sudden Fear, and first blood once again for Sudden Fear in this matchup.
That's a little bit more than just aggression in the mid lane right now. That is pretty much
That's
everyone.
a party.
That's a whole lot of party, except for Caitlyn, who is conveniently pushing in that top lane, being Caitlyn and doing Caitlyn things. The response from Chiefs, though, they are pushing that bottom lane, and a free 1v1 now for Swiper.
Yeah, Swiper looking to get some damage down
Or
onto
is it?
Shiny, but Sudden Fear making their way uptown. Swiper already at half health as well. He has to be so careful. This is exactly what happens at the moment. This sort of when these lane swaps come in, you can't be in this lane. Ejim's going to show himself, but that might just be more food here for Sudden Fear.
It's very risky, though, that Annie having the stun available and the Hecarim also of a relatively high health amount, they do back off away from this, and as we can see.
Yeah, slight pause to come through as Shiny finds his way back into the game, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be into this one as soon as possible, so we'll see exactly what happens as we resume it. But look, this Sudden Fear lineup, they have managed to pick up first blood, but is it going to be enough, Rusty?
It's not going to be enough to directly win them the game. No, it is
No, they don't
simply
win
the
off
first
one gank,
blood. They get a lot of
unfortunately.
gold, and it's onto Chenny as well. So maybe having the Ignite pays off a little bit there for him. Getting that first kill can be a little bit more aggressive in the lane now, maybe with a second Doran's Ring perhaps. We'll see what he does pick up there. And the top lane now, seemingly the plan of attack. Caitlyn in a very comfortable position was left alone and now has a lot of levels.
Yeah.
That's always going to be good. But they're not utilizing the strength of the Nunu Caitlyn just yet. They're not getting the Eye of the Storm Shield with bonus AD from the Janna either. They're essentially just content with letting that farm occur. And one way for them to potentially get ahead was to do that fast push. Instead, they're looking to fight a little bit later.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate that they weren't able to shove up that lane soon enough. And intelligent movements there as well from Ejim to make sure that he was threatening with the multi-man stun underneath that turret. Makes that dive a whole lot more difficult than it would have been if it was just a horsey, which is interesting considering the fact that a little girl probably shouldn't make that any more difficult. But it certainly did. And the Chiefs able to turn that one around. And the teleport from Robo Santa means that he's going to get himself into a lane, find some farm for himself, as well as the fast push was on from the Chiefs.
Yeah, the indication of that teleport says they're not looking to continue the fast push, maybe stay around and do a three-man with the Janna Nunu that we have mentioned. But Robo Santa is now the question. He's teleported to that bot lane. They're aware of that fact. Do they want to dive him, perhaps?
Wow, we'll see whether that is going to come through. Is it sort of enough, though? I mean, I guess he's going to be under an inner turret. He's got that extra shield as well. The overshield coming through from the turret might help him out. But look, they're very deep is what I'm saying.
Okay,
So
by
Sudden Fear
diving-
might be able to move over.
By diving, I'm also mean that he's going to be overextending to actually take
right.
extra last hits, and they've got control of that entire blue area. We saw the wards going down
That's
just
true.
to take the blue buff. The vision control is in favor of Chiefs. If they want to pick on the Maokai, they're more than able to.
Well, we'll see whether they can do that. Of course, Dragon is also another option with more members of the Chiefs towards that bottom side. We'll see whether they can sort of make that one work out. But we do have a replay of this gank in the mid lane.
It's basically just Swiffer dying with a small little flash there in a random direction as if he was not going to admit defeat. Chenny Boy picking up the first blood there. And a very clever rotation. All of the members except for the Caitlyn, even with the Janna, just getting onto Swiffer's face and making him hurt.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of MSI, actually.
A little bit.
Just
I
a
know
little
what you're
bit.
thinking of.
Yeah, sort of Faker getting taken
Yeah.
down for first
Yeah.
blood there by Besiktas. It's a very similar thing. It's like we got to kill someone in this game. And look, we'll see whether Sudden Fear can snowball it out. Maybe utilize the fact that Chenny Boy is a little bit further ahead. Because, look, we saw in the last game that Sudden Fear played that with Chenny Boy on the lineup, they have a little bit more power there in the mid lane.
But it does feel like they just possess a little bit more strength from that mid lane role. Chenny Boy, especially having the first blood now, is more of an old school mid laner. Loves the Xerath, the Orianas, throwback to the last season style of mid laners. So being able to get a kill on a champion that scales exceptionally well this early in the game is definitely a big step.
Yeah, no, it really is. And of course, I want to see things like Chenny Boy's Yasuo as well if he stays playing for the Sudden Fear roster. Of course, Christmas Tree is still there. He's, I believe, still the main roster mid laner, so we're not going to be having Chenny Boy sticking around for too much longer. But of course, it is nice to see him. You don't see too much of Chenny Boy just that much recently.
Small change-up's always going to be nice to see Chenny Boy. He was always an exceptional mid laner and just didn't get the results in the end on his last team, of course. Coming through now, being a sub, but still being able to find at least a very strong start here on the back of a side that is unfortunately 0-8, but almost looking to bolster the roster slightly when he did join.
Yeah, so looking to see if he can help out as far as getting this team at least one victory. I'm not sure whether it's going to be this game, of course. 8-0 with the Chiefs, looking for a perfect record this time. Was destroyed by Fortnite. Of course, Sudden Fear would be the one to poetically make that happen, but not sure whether it's going to happen this game. So far, though, if we're looking at the kill score, they're winning.
Yep, they're winning right now. Let's take the screenshot and just say that we're beating the Chiefs and leave it at that, I guess. Don't play the rest of the game.
Well, it seems like they
We're
have done
winning
it.
now.
Let's pause the game. Let's just revel in this moment for a little bit longer.
That's definitely what they're doing right now. He left the game. He was too excited. He threw his
Yep.
keyboard and it
Yeah,
broke.
he's like, we're done. We're done. Managed. He wasn't even there.
Doesn't
He was
matter.
auto-attacking a
They're
turret.
winning.
Oh, dear. Okay, just very proud of his teammates.
Yes.
Proud of what they're able to accomplish without necessarily much of his help there in the top lane. But Shiny is another player that I want to talk about here because, of course, Sudden Fear have been playing with this guy on the roster for quite some time, and he came in with a lot of hype into the OPL as we do resume the pause. We'll see whether now with a team that can definitely augment his power in this AD carry role, we'll see whether it is going to be his time to shine and really make sure everything works out here for Sudden Fear.
Yeah, Shiny known for that Sivir play almost exclusively. Has started to diversify his champion pool slightly more, and now we're seeing the Caitlyn come out. Caitlyn becoming very high in favor at the moment. Might play to his strengths quite well.
Yeah, especially in the OPL. Of course, Cardred picking it up for the first time, but then everyone jumping on the bandwagon as Chiefs, as we mentioned previously, are considering going for this Dragon. They are going to start that one up, and it looks like they're going to lock that down relatively easily. Spooks with a bunch of extra shield to help him out. Hasn't even been back yet.
No,
Oh, actually, the stun on the Swiffer. Huge combo from Jenny.
yeah, it does a lot of damage right now. The fact he's got a Chalice already compared to Boots as well, kind of a big factor in that.
Yeah.
The fact that he has magic resistance though and he's still dealing that much damage is a worrisome sign for Swiffer in this 1v1.
Well, speaking of worrisome is the fact that Jenny Boy is still pretty far behind as far as that CS is concerned. Swiffer doing a great job keeping up on that front. Ward down. Ejim just hanging out on top of it. Does like the way it feels. He's going to stay there. Ejim actually continues to wander over, but he's level 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't really have a whole lot in terms of damage output. He was looking more so for just the stun to try and equalize an earlier trade. But Chenny Boy hitting a nice stun of his own and followed up by another cheeky kill.
Yeah, so Ejim,
Get out, Ejim.
go and stand in a lane for a bit, dude.
This is your lane, Ejim.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the top lane, the 3 combo that we were talking about, though, the Caitlyn, Nunu, and the
Exactly.
Janna.
The push
hyper
unit.
carry, exactly. The 3-man push combo, hyper carry Caitlyn, already doing work. They get that turret, and they're looking to recall now.
And most certainly Outradia might have picked up a huge wave to freeze in this top lane, though, and he's been suffering as far as that farm is concerned. Was forced to come over and use his DPS on the Dragon, which means wasn't able to get as much work done as far as cleaning up these minions is concerned. So going to be very happy to find a lane on his own, and Chenny Boy, you can see, just standing back, killing creeps.
Yeah, basically just going to be
Didn't
farming.
miss Seraph, not going to lie.
No, it's kind of a very basic.
It's not exactly an interactive laning
get used to
phase
it pretty
with this
quickly.
guy.
We'll
You
say
do.
that much.
You certainly do. And as a cameraman, you know, you're just used to never looking at that lane. There's parallel convergence here. He's going to catch out Patu, but the rest of Sudden Fear moving around. Spook's going to proc that passive just to give himself some extra speed, but flashes over the wall.
Had to flash because he used that E aggressively and not actually able to have enough cooldown reduction to use it a second time and get over the wall. So smartly flashing away. A lot of pressure was going to come down on top of him if he stayed for too long. Now he can continue to jungle without actually taking damage.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about is after all the dust settles, Swiper does have an advantage here in the top side of the map. 8 CS in the lead, so nothing necessarily to write home about, but of course,
Ejim's still level 2.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's
If
probably
only
the best way to
Wards
describe
gave
it.
vision.
Experience.
That's the one. They do give vision.
Wards do give vision. That's their one purpose, Max.
Got it. Yeah, if only they gave experience. Ejim might be able to get to that level 3. But of course, as an Annie, you don't really care, do you? You only want those 2
I mean, you
spells.
kinda want
You want to get
6.
to Tibbers at some point, but I mean, at the moment, that is so far down the track. Ejim's
Yeah.
like, nah, we're pretty good.
It's a bit of an afterthought between clearing wards and not getting experience.
Yeah. Finally going to find himself in a lane. Robo Santa might need to be a little bit careful as Spooks is heading up here at the same time. I think Bomi might be able to lend him a hand.
They won't be able to dive this if Nunu can get there in time just because of the raw levels of Robo Santa, but they are still looking to push the turret down and use the strength that they have.
Yeah, there's a twisted advance. Timewinder from Spooks doesn't get the return damage there, but Chompers onto a pink Bomi puts him at half health very quickly. Sudden Fear do manage to clear out the minion wave, but Chiefs haven't lost anything, and Sudden Fear took a lot of damage from that.
They're kind of just looking to prolong the tower's life as well, because meanwhile in the bot lane, Swiper's having to deal with the Janna and the Caitlyn, who are pushing that turret down slowly but surely.
Yeah, zap onto Robo Santa though. Rockets coming through from Radier as well. They're trying to get the damage down onto Robo Santa. Enough of it. Oh, didn't quite clear the minion wave as Timewinder is going to come back and do some work to Robo there. Chenny Boy making his way up, but it is going to be the bottom outer turret falling here. Sudden Fear taking advantage on that front.
As they finally should be able to do right now. Pink Bomey's going to try his best to defend this, but Ijim still doesn't want experience. They're going to look to go for the turret.
Oh, Robo Santa not wanting to teleport onto that pretty dead turret. Is instead just going to walk back up there, grab the minion wave on its way to the inner. He's going to be happy enough with that. Swiffer was rotating around as well. Sudden Fear giving the information out to the team, making sure that they know that might have to deal with a Victor, and that's not a good thing.
No, it's not what you want, especially as a lone Nunu right there. So they do get the turret. Meanwhile, though, earlier the bot lane turret did go down. The rotations from Sudden Fear now going towards the enemy red buff as Swiffer might be meeting them.
Yeah, Chenny Boy making his way around here at the same time as Swiffer's going to take some Raptors. And yeah, Shiny going to take the red buff. So both red buffs going over to Sudden Fear. Shiny just 90 caliber netting into the Dragon Pit. He's going to get himself back to base. 20 CS the advantage here for the Caitlyn, who's picked up a BF sword, possibly going to be able to grab some more items there. It is going to be the pickaxe and some boots as well. Not going for the cheeky Zeal or the Berserker's Greaves rush. Would you have liked to see that, Rusty?
No, I'm quite happy with what they're doing now, looking to outscale the other AD carries at the moment. 21 CS in favor of Shiny right now.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's pretty big considering. And he has been pretty much just sitting in a lane on the side, just farming as much as he can. They've taken down both outer turrets in the side lanes though. The question is, where is he going to go from here? Is he going to look towards the mid lane where Victor has immense amounts of line-based wave clear and it's very hard to take turrets? Or what will they do? Will they continue to push towards a second turret back?
Well, Shiny looking for an ultimate here in the bottom lane by the looks of things. Actually did use it. Radier going to take a bit of damage from that ace in the hole. Patu just moving around the jungle, but they have consolidated vision very well on the side of Sudden Fear.
They have. They've got plenty of vision in relevant areas at the moment. They've got one in the river to prevent any ganks coming out from Spooks. And speaking of wards spotting Spooks, they are going to ping him out right now.
Yeah, they know exactly where that cheeky Echo is, wandering over that ward. Swiffer going to pay a visit as well as Shiny with the red buff, doing some damage here to Radier, is trading brilliantly. The stun from Ejim, a big deal in this lane as Chiefs just looking to get started on this Dragon. We'll see whether they are going to be able to get it done. Of course, multiple members of Sudden Fear a little bit too far away from that one. Teleport available from Robo Santa though, and Swiper could be there at a moment's notice as well. We might see our first team fight of the game unless Sudden Fear just want to give it up. No, teleport coming through. There's the gravity field. Patu might get caught up right to the arcane coming down, but it is going to be
stuck in the pit.
Yeah, Ejim might be in trouble as Robo Santa finds his way and gets stunned up. Oh, Robo super dead already as the flash from a Pink Bomey. Super Mega Death Rocket going to take him down as Chaos Storm just doing so much work. Radier flashes forward. There's the stun as Chenny tries to get one back. Ignite onto Radier, but he's more than fine as the rest of Sudden Fear now in so much trouble. Timewinder, it's going to come back. Shiny's in trouble. He's going to fall. And the Chiefs, I don't know how they didn't lose a member.
They just weren't prepared for the Dragon right there, Sudden Fear. It was a very reactive and late decision to teleport in. Xerath only in range with his ultimate, a big factor. He didn't actually have a presence in that last team fight at all until the very end. And by that stage, Jinx was already excited. And the Chiefs side put themselves into the Dragon Pit. They found themselves in a very awkward predicament. We're going to see that exact thing happen here as the Xerath kind of stuck on the side there. Pink Bomey gets a fantastic absolute zero off to zone the rest of the Chiefs. It does get instantly cancelled, unfortunately. And they managed to pick up a very quick kill onto Robo Santa. He goes down. And by the time Chenny's actually here to do relevant damage to that side, he's just a sitting duck for the damage of Radier.
Yeah, and he sort of flashes a bit late there as well at the same time. But a little bit unfortunate for Sudden Fear. Chiefs really making their mark on this game now. Pick up their second Dragon and continue their onslaught this game. Of course, gold lead no longer in favor of Sudden Fear. 2,000 almost for the Chiefs at this point. And when Dragon doesn't give you that gold lead like it used to, it's just going to give you those stats. It's very important. It's Ejim just right in the face of Chenny Boy now. Takes a full combo, but Spooks makes his way over. Pink Bomey going to get him out of there with the Blood Boil, but Chenny Boy charging a Q. Get a bit of damage down to the Spooks, but it's not going to be able to steal back that Raptor. I think Bomey's going to handle it though.
Ejim finally having his tippers available also. Not often to use it right there in that fight.
It's just not used to it, man. Nah, not used to being that high level. Ridiculous. Jumpers onto a Pink Bomey, takes a laser beam as well. Half of his health gone. one combo there. Swiffer getting the work done. Shiny makes his way. What was he doing there? Parallel convergence. Just so that they can party in a circle, and the Chiefs, they'll take a kill on the 80 carry for free.
Yeah, free kill on what was a flanking Shiny, trying to put some wave clear down to prevent them. But
right to the arcane. E-Jim just gets obliterated. Radiant going to take a couple of bolts as Absolute Zero comes down. And Swiper might need to be careful now, but Patu, Chaos Storm flashed out of the way off there by the Janna. Super Mega Death Rocker blocked by the rest of Sudden Fear. And they lose the turret. Not all of their lives.
They make a 1-for-1 trade in the end. They're getting a pick onto Ejim, but Shiny was already down. A lot of their wave clear besides Xerath at this stage in the game. You need to combo that Xerath Q with the Caitlyn. Otherwise, you cannot instantly clear waves. And again, Chiefs just rampage over the map. They run over them with a smart movement along the map. And Shenny not finding it.
Yeah, not quite there. Swiffer going to get the death laser in, and Chenny Boy going to wish he hadn't have moved that far down the map.
That's a 2-level advantage right now for Swiffer in this mid lane, as it is.
Yeah. Only one augment on that Hex core, but with the Morellonomicon already completed, he's got a lot of extra damage. He's going to be throwing down those spells very quickly at the same time. Laser beams continue to erupt from this Victor. Ejim going to clear out some of the forward vision that Sudden Fear had available to them, and the Chiefs actually with far more vision control than they otherwise would have at this point in the game. Often you see the Chiefs sort of not necessarily putting down a whole lot if they don't have to, but at this point they're realizing that they really want to make sure that they know where Sudden Fear are and create the picks that they're looking for.
They're looking to control what Sudden Fear are doing, is essentially the point you can take from that, is that because Sudden Fear are running a very good poke, they're running very good siege, and they've got a lot of instant takedown on a turret of their choice. So the Pink Bomi decides he wants the blue buff and does not give that one over to Chenny Boy. But again, if they keep tabs on where Sudden Fear are at all times, they can prevent that super fast push. There's no map movement that isn't going to be unexpected by the Chiefs, and they'll be able to stop turrets from going down, or they can just force them to defend turrets that Chiefs are trying to take.
So Spook's going to take the Rift Scuttler on the top side of the map, so it's even more vision available for the Chiefs. As the full tank Echo makes his way down towards the Dragon, up in about 1 minute and 30 seconds. For the Chiefs, a little bit early. They're just going to continue to clear and put down their vision of their own. Of course, Chenny Boy making his way through here, but does not want to head into the darkness that is his blue side jungle.
I would not want to either, really, at this stage. You've got 3 members of the Chiefs in the bot side jungle with no vision of where they were if you were Sudden Fear, so you have to respect it.
Certainly do. Chenny Boy clearing things out here in the mid lane, and the Chiefs grouping up together. They're looking to try and get this bottom lane in a turret dead as Time Winder onto a Pink Bomi. Not going to do too much damage because Spooks just doesn't have a lot of ability power.
Saving his own wards is the ultimate goal there. They managed to get a small win out of this defense. I think Bomi had to walk away from that. Now they're looking to just be pests at the moment. A big CS advantage in the mid lane though.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
And that is basically just a raw 1v1 at the moment. Chenny Boy, a lot of rotations towards that top lane when the Chiefs were threatening to take it, and Swiffer just stayed in the mid lane and cleared.
He most certainly did, and was getting a lot of work done there as well. Chenny Boy does have the extra kill there, but the extra assist is going to definitely help put Swiffer over the line with all of that farm that has come in there. Also now with the Sorcerer's Shoes and a book in his back pocket. Swiffer not only going to be well read, but he's going to be able to walk fast at the same time. So things going okay for the Victor. Spook's just going to clear out some vision. So 1 second until the Dragon. That one's going to be spawning right now, and red buff over to Jinx as well. So Chiefs now 2,000 gold ahead, almost 3, looking to try and secure their 3rd Dragon of the game.
Yeah, 1750 for that 3rd Dragon as well. Very early 5th Dragon is a possibility, as Sudden Fear cannot contest this right now. Chiefs have complete control of the Dragon area and pretty much all surrounding spots besides Sudden Fear's blue. They're in a very commanding position overall on the entirety of the map at the moment. And, I mean, Sudden Fear need to reassess their strategy. Their comp works well when they're sieging, when they're poking, and when they're not being engaged on. But the Chiefs are just running over them.
Does that just require the Sudden Fear lineup to group together and get stuff done as a squad? Or do they need to make sure that they've got their lanes prepped and then move forward, and Chiefs aren't letting them do that?
A bit of both. You want to be grouped for the most part. And you want to be able to control sideways so that when you are grouped, you're not wasting any potential gold income. So the fact that Swiper is consistently split pushing is being a big issue for this Sudden Fear lineup, but Robocenter's essentially going to be doing the same thing. He's got the Righteous Glory finish now. They can both just teleport into a fight. So as for sidewave control, that comes down to the top laners. But for what their team com's designed to do, they should just be grouping and working around the Caitlyn and Nunu because it's one of the only strengths that they do possess, but it's a big strength.
Yeah, it is. And of course, Caitlyn sort of known for having this mid-game lull, and that's what a Nunu and Janna does. As Zap is going to go wide. Chenny Boy trying to run away, does have the flash. Timewinder gets the slow, and there's the flash Tibbers. Oh, Chenny Boy flashes out of the way, but can't dodge the auto attack as Radiant picks up the kill.
The mini rocket actually getting the kill there as the big one gets whiffed by a nice flash from Chenny, but again, they take him down. They find the pick onto one of the two sources of wave clear, and now diving, or at the very least forcing the objective, becomes so much easier for them to do. They've put down all of their control around the mid lane now, and here they go.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get a lot of damage under this turret. Pink Bomi tries to use the ult to clear things out as the laser onto Shiny puts him at below half health. Robo-Santa tanking everything up just to make sure that they can kill these minions, but Swiffer's wave clear is just too strong.
They've got so much wave. They've got so much damage, and Swiper threatening at the side right now. They do have Chenny Boy finally back, and he's going to join the fray, but it's very risky to stay around this.
Most certainly is. Radiant actually playing very aggressively as the Zap finds the Pink Bomi. Eye of the Storm just going to try and keep this turret alive as Shiny's just taking so much damage from this poke right of the Arcane onto Radiant and Spooks, but only going to find a couple of bolts there. Robo Center at the right position, right at the front of this one, tanking up as much damage as he can, just soaking for his team, but need to take that death ray, I don't think.
No, now they have both members who can wave clear from Sudden Fear back. They've got Xerath and Caitlyn sitting in the mid lane now, that it's a lot safer for them to, at the very least, stop the Chiefs from pushing. The thing is that they're constantly getting picked right now from very clever vision control and working around that vision control from the Chiefs. They're getting the Annie Tibbers down onto relevant targets. They've had the Caitlyn die beforehand they took a turret. They got the Xerath that died. They almost took the second turret in the mid lane. Sudden Fear need to work around controlling certain areas where they're not going to get caught, recognizing where the Chiefs are going to go most importantly, and stopping that from happening, or at the very least stopping themselves from dying so that they can stop the objective from happening.
Radiant might rocket that blue.
Oh my god.
Besides, he's not going to. Ejim was looking to steal away a red buff, but doesn't get there in time as Radiant, he's being caught out. There's the
heal.
ace in the hole, nails the kill, and Radiant just a little bit overextended.
Yeah, just copping a casual crit to the face.
Oh, there's the flash. Actually, Ejim caught at the same time. Chiefs may have found a way to throw this game as Robo-Santa making the plays for Sudden Fear, and the outer turret in the mid lane now the focus for this team.
Chiefs running a very awkward split push right now. They're up against the fast push from a Nunu and a Caitlyn. They need to start recalling or rotating towards that mid lane, or they're going to lose two turrets. But
Yeah.
Swiper wants to stay.
In a parallel convergence, they're not going to find anything as the teleport comes in. Spooks looking to try and find something, but he's going to have to chrono break out. Robo Center, he's going to get caught out just a little bit, but Shiny's still safe from the backline. Chaos Storm onto Robo. Monsoon is going to keep him alive for now. As Sudden Fear, they lose no one and they get out.
They managed to get out. They didn't get the second turret, but they end up with 2 kills and the first turret of their own right now. Sudden Fear finding something back for them, much needed. Because if they fell any further behind, their comp would have probably flopped. They're now in a much more comfortable position where they can work around their strengths again and do exactly what they did. If the Chiefs try to split push, if they try and 1-3-1, you catch them out of position with that Maokai. You utilize the strength of the Caitlyn and that extra range, and it works to your strengths perfectly.
Yeah, well, Shiny going to head back to base. We'll see what items he's going to be able to pick up. Phantom Dancer already for him, and he grabs a long sword for himself. So no Berserker's Crease just yet. Just wants to make sure that he's got as many damaging stats as he possibly can have. And with Tailwind from Janna and, of course, the Blood Boil as well, not looking for all that much extra movement speed.
No, not really looking for any extra movement speed. Not necessarily needing it, that's for sure. Their side is very good at engaging Sudden Fear, working around, having that extra move speed from the Janna firstly if she's in front of you. And then you've got the Righteous Glory Maokai.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
They've got the options to just straight go in. But they want to work around that poke and siege definitely more so. They want to get the side of Chiefs low. Ejim very vulnerable to taking damages, and Annie level 9 with only the Talisman and Mobile.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they have Janna as well, just because they're going to need to be disengaging. So Patu, I'd even like him to pick up Captain's Boots. I'm saying it right now.
No, I'm an advocate of that for sure. Not that he doesn't necessarily need them because of the Tailwind passive, but the Captain's Boots will add to it even further.
Yeah, augmented, multiplicative scaling. I'm not even sure.
You just
whether
wanted
that's
to say
yeah, I just
multiplicative.
love saying it. It's a
Yeah.
really good word to say, but I'm not even sure whether
Right
it's
or wrong,
relevant
it
at this
sounds
stage.
smart.
Yep, sounds good. So let's just leave it at that. As Patu just wandering around in his own jungle. He's going to get caught out there just a little bit, but Parallel Convergence only going to be playing some baseball and creating a bit of a circle on the ground. Chiefs now going to take down their 4th dragon of the game, and it's for free. They've just got so much vision around this area that there's nothing Sudden Fear can do, and that's 4-0 now, and 5th dragon coming in at probably 32 minutes.
We saw Absolute try to do this last game, but the Chiefs are doing it so expertly right now. They're executing for Dragon as their ultimate win condition. They've already got 4, and Chenny Boy, apparently.
Yeah, Chenny Boy, super dead.
Get out of here.
Storm this game down. And don't blame the cameraman, ladies and gentlemen, because Chenny Boy was at full health not a few seconds ago.
It's an Annie and a Victor. There was no way, without being predictive and just sitting on Xerath, that you would have actually seen that coming. He goes down super quickly. They now have the chance to take down this second inner turret and maybe Robo.
Yeah, Robo, he's going to get ignited as well. Spook's making his way towards the top side. There's the Parallel Convergence. Not going to get the slow just yet, though, as Robo Santa trying to get out of there. Ejim, he's going to ruin his day, though, as well. Oh, actually going to be used here to try and get around Patu and a Pink Bomi. There's the flash. Spook's taking a whole lot of damage as Robo Santa's still alive. The exhaust onto him as well as he uses the Chrono Break, trying to get back in, but Robo right there. It's going to lock down the killer. Wow. Pink Bomi in trouble now, though. Swiper gets that one, and he's pretty tanky now on this Hecarim. He's got a Trinity Force as well, so not necessarily tanky, just does a heck of a lot of damage, and Robo going to be safe, but he's going to trade his jungler for their jungler.
Chenny Boy starts to make his way up and
Super Mega Chenny Rocket.
Actually blocking for his teammate there, Robo, who was super low and under the turret. That is where it was going. I mean, they find themselves with a very weird, prolonged fight right there. Spook's going down even after using the ultimate. Robo Santa was about to get stunned by Ejim, but the Twisted Advance cancelling that one out, and then they catch Annie in a bad position. The AD carrying the mid laner right now, they just want to go it.
Oh my goodness, there's the Chaos Storm as Shiny's using the ultimate. Chenny locks it down. Look, that was questionable, but it worked.
Calculated right there from Shiny. Uses the heal and stays alive, sitting inside the Chaos Storm to throw down the ultimate. But Jenny hitting that ultimate, actually finding a kill from it all. Well done to Sudden Fear.
Yeah, there's the go button though, pushed by the Chiefs of Pink Bomi in a whole bunch of trouble. He's going to flash over into the red buff pit. He just eats it. And a whole lot of health back there from the smite at the same time as the consumers. Chenny Boy looking to try and at least just poke out the members of the Chiefs. They want to keep their red buff as Shiny. He's coming around and he's got his eye on it. Crimson Bramblebacks, are Caitlin's favorite food.
I think Bomi suddenly at full health on this as well from it.
Oh, Parallel Convergence onto Shiny there, looking for him. Gets the stun. The zap goes down as well. Super Mega Death Rocket is going to take down Shiny as Chenny Boy forced to use the flash. Arcano Pulse over the top of the team, but doesn't find anyone as Swipe is trying to make his way through the backside, but gets stunned up for it. Ejim is going to be the focus from Robo Santa, but now finds that he's all on his own, and Radiant way too healthy. Cute little flash, but it's still going to result in his death as Patu's making his way downtown at the same time. Chenny Boy is super low as is a Pink Bomi, but they only lose 2. Might mean that they lose the Baron as well.
Yeah, surprisingly, they only lose the 2 members, but Shiny and Robo Santa both down. The Baron readily available to be taken. And that's now a Baron, the 4th dragon for the Chiefs as well, with the 5th one coming up reasonably soon. And a lot of control for this lineup. Well,
Spooks makes his way over, but doesn't have a whole lot of mana just yet. But okay, that was
see you later.
That was a rampage.
That was a lot of damage. Trinity Force, bro.
Yeah, lots of damage. Horse. Ladies and gentlemen, that's painful. And, you know, it's because we just see a lot of full tank Hecarims building that Cinder Hulk, building the likes of the Frozen Heart and the
that is a
Spirit Visage. But, yeah, that's what happens when you go Trinity Force. First, you do a heck of a lot of damage in the mid-game.
Yeah, that's pretty much, you've summed it up quite nicely. The Hecarim doing a lot of damage, the Baron going down to the Chiefs as well. It's getting harder and harder for this Sudden Fear side to actually have an answer. The Caitlyn, we've seen the damage that can be put out. The Phantom Dancer and Infinity Edge finished almost at that last Whisper. The Xerath starting to ramp up, has a death cap, but no Void Staff to speak of just yet. So the biggest issue is actually going to be this Swiper's horse.
Yeah, and his horse is pretty amazing at this stage. Sudden Fear looking to try and kill him if they can, but he runs pretty quick. Ice Blast is going to help with that one. Arcano Pulse there. He's going to try and take down Patu. Tons of damage from Swiper, but he is going to fall. Shiny locks it down.
Yeah, they pick up a free kill, essentially for nothing. But I say that
maybe
as
for an
they
inhibitor
make
turret.
it something.
Yeah, that is going to be a big deal here as the Chiefs break the base off the back of a distraction horseplay. RoboSanta does have the twisted advance, doesn't know whether he should really start up this fight just yet. Nails all 3 bolts, just Jenny Boy though, and they might be able to start something from this. Ejim gonna flash away. It's gonna mean another turret that falls down as Swiffer had some time on his own. Oh, the laser beam actually hitting RoboSanta there as well as Chiefs just move around towards the top side and back towards full health as Radier takes another Arcano Pulse. Swiffer gonna hit him with a skill shot as well, but realizes that friendly fire isn't on at this stage.
They don't really even need to be top lane right now. Dragon in 40 seconds. It's Dragon number 5, by the way, at 29 minutes in the game. As Shiny just says, no, I don't like you right now, so let's get out.
Yeah, my mathematics is well and truly wrong. I thought it was an extra couple of minutes, but not going to be the case this time. I think I was doing Baron calculations for some reason from the 3rd Dragon, but doesn't matter. Going to mean that it is going to be up at 30 minutes into this game, and the Chiefs are going to be able to lock down possibly the 5th Dragon unless Sudden Fear can get a position on it, and they do seem to be in the right place. But do they have the team fight?
I think we're going to see ourselves with an all-or-nothing style fight here from Sudden Fear. If they can stop the Dragon from going down, or if they just don't die before the Dragon goes down, from the looks of it, Chiefs trying to flank them. They've got that Hecker and teleport. Can they make it work, or can the Chiefs get the Dragon?
I don't know. I don't know. You've set it up well though, Rusty. The Dragon is down to about half health here. Arcano Pulse still over the members as there's the 5th Dragon. They do manage to lock down a kill though, as it is going to be Spooks falling down. Ejim going down very, very low as Chenny Boy just going to get destroyed by Swiper. Shiny trying to kite this one around. Swiper solo, but Chaos Storm as what looks like an afterthought from Swiffer melts the Caitlyn. And all of a sudden, everyone on Sudden Fear is dead.
They pick up that 5th Dragon, casually getting into the faces of Sudden Fear straight after. They take them all down. Only Spooks is the casualty. At 30 minutes in the game, with all the members dead for another 15 seconds, Chiefs should be able to close out this game.
So much damage as well. Jinx just melting through these turrets. They've got creeps to spare, and the Nexus is going to go down. The Chiefs with another dominating performance. Maybe still a little bit shaky there in the mid-game. I mean, the very, very early game, they lost Swiffer to a pretty devastating roam by most of the members of Sudden Fear. But from there, that just looked like the Chiefs of old put themselves at 9-0.
Yeah, it was almost like the consolation prize of getting Swiffer to die a couple of times. It's very satisfying for Sudden Fear. They had a very solid effort, a very good attempt at actually taking it away, but the Chiefs, once it hits the mid to late game stages, they seem almost unrivaled in terms of strength. They work around the Dragon. They set that out from very early in the game as their win condition, and they utilized it well.
Yeah, they most certainly did. Of course, the Chiefs are a monstrous force here in the OPL, and Sudden Fear, yet again, sort of not being able to pick up a win. 0-9 now, but sort of as the Chiefs are out of the way, they might have an opportunity to pick up a victory over somebody else. Of course, the Chiefs definitely sitting in that top spot pretty solidly at this stage.
Yeah, we're just looking for that one win right now from Sudden Fear to just make it all worthwhile. Chiefs sitting in a commanding position at the moment. 9-0 is a ridiculous spot to be in with 2 weeks roughly remaining.
Yeah, well, we are going to throw it back to Pastry Time and Spawn for a little bit more breakdown of that game.
Thank you very much, Atlas. And the Chiefs Spawn seem to be continuing that same form.
Yeah, they certainly have moved through to 9-0 there. Unfortunately, Sudden Fear not able to pick up their first win, but definitely ran with them for a lot of that game. Got ahead a little bit in the early game, used Caitlyn for her strength, but just couldn't go with them in the team fight portion.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of what Sudden Fear are about just in general is like, you know, can definitely hang with these players, mechanically good, strong solo queue players, but playing against a team like Chiefs who have so much cohesion and experience is always going to be tricky.
Yeah, it certainly is. And, you know, they gave him a comfort pick in that mid lane. Victor was like 110 CS up at the end of the game, picked up a triple kill in the last team fight. Swiffer returning to some very good form.
Yeah, looking good there. And of course, guys, before we get into a bit more of this match, we got a contest going on as well. We gave away a Logitech mouse. Now we want to give away a keyboard. Get on Twitter and tweet your game face. And you can see Spawn right here, a shining example.
Yeah, that's my game face right there.
Yep, so whatever show you're watching, just pretend the face you put on while you're watching if you're like cheering for your teams. As you can see, this is Spawn's happy, cheery face.
I'm just nice and relaxed, man. That's how I watch League of
Hey,
Legends.
that looks great. And of course, tweet it to lol_Oceania. Use the hashtag IamOPL to enter. Just to let you know, it's unfortunately for OCN residents only, but tweet in your game faces anyway, just for fun.
Yeah, definitely come through there. You have a chance of winning a nice Logitech keyboard for yourself there, so definitely get on Twitter and send those in.
Yep, we'll give 3 of them away as well, so plenty of keyboards to go around. Of course, we have people who gave a mouse to earlier, so we'd love to give away some keyboards as well. But Spawn, just a little bit more on this game. It's funny that we mentioned the Objective Control and Warding, because that game was all about those 5 dragons.
Yeah, it certainly was. But, before we jump into that fight, we actually had some cool mechanics coming out that game. And Echo is a champion that I really love to watch play. And we have a replay to pull up for you guys to just show, if you are going to play the Echo, how you start team fights off. So if you roll this one out at half speed, you see that he flows it out, flashes, and then dashes on top of the Caitlyn to guarantee the stun. Just at the very end of it. That would have been Shiny not expecting Spooks to be able to get in range and able to line it up. Also uses his ultimate to dodge out of a lot of damage, keeps people very slow, very stunned. Looks like Radier is cleaning up a lot of the fight, but a lot of it is facilitated by that Echo play coming out of the jungle.
And that's the interesting thing about Echo as a champion. He's a kind of a skirmish-based assassin. He weaves in and out. So when you have someone like Jinx that can constantly reposition when people get low, you get a lot of really interesting-looking team fights.
Yeah, it certainly is. And yeah, just to break it down again, you throw the circle out, you're able to flash and dash at the same time because it gives you a very large gap close. We saw him using it in ganks. Now we're seeing him using it in team fights. Definitely a very useful mechanic to get on top of.
Yeah, the Spooks Echo looking scary from the jungle, but we do have another replay, this time for a team fight. So let's look at the Echo, but a little more holistically as well, Spawn. What does the Chiefs team fight look like? Remember, this is for the 5th dragon.
Yeah, so the thing to set this up is that the Chiefs were forcing Sudden Fear over and over again to respond to these dragons. You see it's 4-0. Sudden Fear just can not get a look in. Chiefs actually swapped 20 CS early on Radier, went over to Shiny for the dragon control. So as we roll this one out, you see Sudden Fear, even though they've given up a Baron field, they have to fight it, goes down. And now with all this added power, even though they blow up Spooks, on the backline, Swiper just goes berserk, zones all the damage dealers. Swiffer with all the consistent damage. You see he flashes, uses his ult on one person at the end because he hadn't even used it so far. On Victor, he's just so dangerous. And it was those consistent damage threats, the Jinx, the Victor, and then the big tanky horse on the back line with the 5th Baron buff that was just too much to compete with.
And you saw that fight as well. That kind of went through like 2/3 of the river. And again, they have all these good gap closes, lots of good engage, and even the Hecarim for mobility just from the ultimate, they can get around all of these very long places and make sure they win the fight.
Yeah, they certainly do. They run really quickly. Everyone has like the get excited, the transfer power, the gallop that comes through. I don't know what the E is. And just able to get in there and really mess up the other team, and they just move too fast.
Well, we're going to get a bit more insight. Let's jump back into the studio with Atlas, Rusty, and Tim.